Hey everyone, coming at you today. We're going to talk about. So, this is works of art. Been off for a minute because just been tending to my baby, taking care of her, doing what I need to do for her. In a minute, we're gonna have to. So this is gonna have to be. This is probably gonna be a little quick one today, but it's gonna be an important one to get the series started of makings of a man. What I feel is something that's needed, and what I feel like we can learn from each other. So she's gonna have to get ready soon, and she's probably gonna start crying. I just fed her, laid her down for a nap. Then I gotta get her going, get her ready for the babysitter. Then off to work I go. But just a day in the life though. So what it boils down to, coming from works of art, I wanted to start this series before I get out and start doing like my speaking engagements and all of those kind of things. I already have some community activities going on through work, but what I really want to do is get this whole makings of a man thing going and kind of start putting the buzz out there so we can get the conversation going, and maybe spark some good dialogue about what we feel we need to be doing as men, and then what women feel we need to be doing as men, because they have a lot of influence in that, and they do have a lot of opinions, as we hear a lot of times, of what they feel a man should be. But I think what's so important is that we understand what we feel and know, and where are we getting our information on what a man is and what a man's supposed to be. But the thing is, it's going to be different no matter who you talk to. It's going to be different. So within the first part of makings of a man, I just kind of want to dive into some of my things that I've had issues with, some of the things that I've had to grow with, and where I've made a lot of progression. And so I'll open it up and I'll get going about it. So makings of a man is somewhat of a tool to try to guide the young men coming up, so that we can give them something to go by. We can give them something to look to for maybe reference. Maybe like, okay, well, they said, we pay, back in the old days, we would pay for dinner, so why is it wrong for me to pay for dinner now? Why am I tricking if I'm buying a nice woman a meal? Or, how do I go interview? Things of that nature. Like, we've gotten so far off track to where, we have young men who don't know how to tie ties, young men who will go to interviews and pants, shorts, tennis shoes. But in their minds, though, they feel they're fresh. They feel like they're dressed to impress. But do we really know what dress to impress is? Has it been instilled in them? Has someone told them that, dude, you need to get your nice little suit, get your nice little tie, pocket square, and you roll up in the interview with some confidence. Be able to talk, be able to articulate what you're trying to get across, be able to talk to the people and tell them, hey, this is why you need me here at your company. This is why you need a man like me. Not a boy, but a man, to fill this position and to lead your people who, you feel you thought would be the best for this, company. This is why you should entrust them to me. And I think when we do that, like when we start putting that into play and putting that into the young kids' lives who need to know this, and it just benefits both genders. It benefits both sexes. It just benefits the world as a whole, because we're raising men. We're raising young men who are informed, have knowledge about the current events that are going on around them, have knowledge of their community, not the devastation in their community, but the tradition of their community, the tradition of where they come from, who they are now, and what they will be in the future. So to get it kicked off, I'll go like this. So my upbringing was a little different. My father was involved, and then not involved, but involved. So I had my issues with that. So but then I also was very observant. So he was somewhat of a player. but heart of gold. And what I found out when I found myself being a reflection of him was, I was somewhat of a womanizer, and I was somewhat of a person who used women. And this was this was all the way up through college. So I really had to do some soul searching when it came down to the people that I really liked. Why wasn't it working out? Why wasn't I able to sustain a positive relationship with a woman? There were a lot of issues I had going on, and I didn't even know. I thought I was on top of it. I thought I was on top of my game. I'm getting work. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But what it comes down to, that there's a foundation. There's a foundation that has to be laid. There is something that has to be there that shows you, hey, this is how you treat a woman. This is how it's supposed to be. And a lot of times you can't go by what a woman tells you what they need to be treated by, because the thing is, everybody's interpretation of what a man should be is going to be different, and how a man should treat someone is going to be different. And that's what I had to learn, because I've spoken to several of my friends, and and they say, well, I'm trying to do this for her because I feel like this was sweet, and it's their version of sweet, but it's not the woman's version of what sweet is. So I think then we get caught up in a dilemma of, well, she don't take me as I am, man, and this is who I am. If I want to get her J's, but she likes roses, but isn't this the equivalency of roses, for me? If she knows that I'm a shoehead, the thing is, both sides have equal, right to be upset or to be engaged and say that, no, that's not what I want. But I think it comes down to having an understanding of each other, having an understanding of what you're trying to do as a man, and being able to convey that message to your significant other. And a lot of times we aren't able to do that. I'm very articulate, and I can speak about a lot of things, and I'm very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but I know a lot of times me speaking to the opposite sex is difficult, because I'm a pretty stubborn person. But I also know that I'm a pretty flexible person when it comes to listening to the issues, figuring out. I don't try to go by what's fair, because what may be fair to you is not going to be fair to me. What may look right to you doesn't look right to me. But what I try to do is I try to find some type of balance, get my yin and yang on. That's what I really try to do. And what I found out that is over the years, of my growth, because I went from being a man who, first I went from not getting women at all. Then I went to being someone who is, I get, ladies are kind of fond of me. And then I went to being a user. Some would call me a player, but I was never, I never had the, what is it? I never had the, I guess the heartlessness of a player. Like, I couldn't just be like, on to the next one type of deal. I was very emotional. When I was caught, I was hurt. I felt like when I made someone cry, I felt bad. I wasn't inhuman. I had a conscience. So, I started to really think about this. And then one of my frat brothers told me, he said, Art, you can't sit out here and be having 7 and 8 girlfriends. It's like, one, it's wearing you down. And 2, it's not cool. I said, okay. Because, I'm a big believer in you can get knowledge and wisdom from anyone. It doesn't have to be an old head. It can be someone younger than you. You can learn from experiences. It can be that homeless person. It can be that addict. You can get knowledge and wisdom from anywhere. And you can learn from your mistakes. So what I had to realize was, okay, I was breaking people's hearts. And I had a conscience. So I was, in return, every time I'm breaking someone else's heart, I'm losing a little bit of me, because I'm not that ruthless person. And I like to love and love to be liked. But I had to learn that my desires and I had to get a gauge on it. And as a man, I was going to have to treat women a hell of a lot better. And as I started to grow, I started to take less and give more. And once I started doing that, I just started to see things, the relationships I had with women, whether they were sexual or just strictly platonic, I started to see them grow. And I started to see that I developed a better understanding on how to deal with people, how to manage a woman, like if it came to my work, like, you know, if it came to work or what have you, how to deal with it, how to cope with it, how to deal with maybe the emotional changes that go on in one. Within reason, of course. Yeah. So, I think for me, I think that was the major turning point when my frat brother told me that. When I saw that my dad was a player and I was following in the same footsteps, and I had the choice not to. But the thing is, I take solace in the fact that what I did as a young man and people that I hurt, I asked for forgiveness because I realized that I did wrong. But I realized that I was still good. I beat myself up for a while about this, and nobody really knows that. I beat myself up for a while because, my mom be like, "Well, you're hoish, right?" I said, "Mom, you know what? You may be right. And that may be something I need to work on. It is something I need to work on. People weren't meant to do some of the things I did as a youngin', but the thing is, we grow. And the thing is, if you don't believe I can grow, there are a lot of people who can tell you different. I can't get caught up on the fact that some people won't believe that. So, because I won't progress as a man, and that's what it is. It's all really about progression. And I look back over my life and I see a lot of things that have changed. Now I have a beautiful baby girl, and it makes sense now. Like, something was preparing me to have her. Like, there's a little girl in this world now, and then there's going to be there's going to be a young man who is just like me, who's probably going to come across Marley and talk to her. Because I like to say I was a pretty smooth brother. I had the corny but swag type thing going on, and it could be deceiving. Like, this is I really thought I was a good guy. But there was a lot of things that were doing that just wasn't going to build the woman up. That the women that I came across I wasn't building them up. I was selling dreams, as we used to say back in the day. I was selling dreams, and that's something that I am deeply apologetic about, because if I would have just kept it real a lot more than I sold a dream, I think some of those relationships that I lost, as in friendships too, would have been there still today. I wouldn't have burned those bridges, and for that I'm deeply sorry. But as I grow, I got a little one to take care of now. It's amazing to me. Like, she's gonna look to me for guidance on what a man should be. Her mother's gonna tell her things about what a man should be, but she's gonna see me and see a man. So she's gonna be like, "Daddy, you should know, and you should do." She's not gonna understand that, well, your daddy got some ways. No, she's gonna want daddy to be her hero. She's gonna want daddy to be that man who sets the example and sets the standard. And so it just got way deeper for me. At that point, I was able to just right now, I'm at the best point in my life to where I'm bringing a beautiful girl, like, knowledge and wisdom about what a man should do, how she should be treated. She's only like 8 weeks. She's about to be 2 months. And I'm going to give her all that knowledge. And I'm going to continue to give her all that knowledge as long as I have breath in my body. And I'm going to want more for her. I'm going to tell her how it goes, how your daddy did it. This is what you look for. These are some telltale signs. Not hate. I just have to raise the level of what we're doing as men. And the thing is, we have a lot of men out there who are fathers. You know, there are a lot of people out there. I know some officers who are fathers to their children. And the mothers make it hard. That sucks. Because we're trying to, especially when it's a little boy, we're trying to raise men. And the thing is, if we're doing everything we need to do, and we're good examples of what a man should be, let us raise kids. Let us be factors. Let us be changing forces in their lives that we just, so that we're able to love on them just as much as you do. Allow us these things, especially the ones who want to. And let's continue to kick the ones in the butt who don't want to be a part of their lives. And I'm talking about, that goes for men. We need to be kicking each other's butts. If we see someone who's not being a part of their child's life, what are you doing, man? You see the way the world is going right now. Just imagine if you were there. Just imagine if she or he had that talk. Maybe they wouldn't go hop in that car and go rob that person. Maybe she wouldn't lay down and open up her legs. You gotta think about it. Maybe she knew her worth. Maybe if he knew his worth. So many of the kids today don't know their worth. And it's not enough men out there telling them what their worth is. I know we're out here grinding, trying to get our paper. Trust me, I know this. And I know I'm running long with this, but it's so important though. And it's something that is needed. It's something that is needed in society today. It's something that's needed in my culture today. When I say this, when I say everything that I say it with 100% of my heart. I want for us to be better. I want for things to work out better. I want for kids to have a father. I want for kids to have a mother. If they're together, so be it. If they're not, I feel we should be able to act like adults. I feel that everybody should squash the pettiness and take care of your kids. It's not about what you want or what you don't like, or if you don't want to see him with somebody else, or if you don't want to see her with somebody else. Get your head up out your butt and take care of your child and allow him to be there for your child. You don't take a judge. One, this is going to go for both ways in both parties. Don't let a judge tell you that you have to raise your child. Okay? All right. And then secondly, don't always feel a judge, especially when a man or a woman is doing for their child, is going to be the way you control that other person. So we have to think about it. We have to think that our child is going to see how we communicate, how we deal with each other, how we speak to each other, whether we respect each other. And they're going to start basing their views off of that. So what are we going to give them? You know what I mean? That their definition of what a mother and what a father and what that relationship looks like is going to come from the mother and the father. So we got to get it together. So a series of makings of a man. This is part 1. But I'm going to keep giving it to you. And then whether we watch it, whether we share it, whether we don't, this is something that's needed. Whether it's coming from me or if it's coming from the next person. This is something that's needed. The young men need to know that, dude, you're going to be something great. You're going to be something that's you're going to be someone who is awesome, who's going to enact change among society. People are going to view your community different by how you set the standard and the expectation of how you should be treated. Because you can't expect someone to treat you good or great if you don't treat yourself great. If you don't take care of your body. If you don't take care of your mind. If you don't take care of your home, how can anybody believe in what you're saying? This is just, I could go on and on and on about, what is it going to take for us to become men and step up to the plate and get involved in our communities, get involved in the young kids' lives. If you don't have a child, there's no reason you can't be mentoring a child. If you like, the thing is, for me, I had to take a step back because I realized I was getting overwhelmed and I wasn't accomplishing anything. I was trying to save so many, but yet losing so many. I'm a part of this child's life. I'm a part of this child's life. I'm a part of this child's life. But yet, wasn't able to build a lasting connection and become their go-to person, So, because you can't do it all on your own. You can't put the world on your back. You can't put a whole neighborhood on your back. Now, if we come together and we link hands and we link arms and we say, hey, we're going to take these young men and make them grown men and make them successful men so that they know how to treat these young women, these successful women. Like, I think it starts to look better for us. It starts to look better for men in society. And this is something that I think is needed on all levels, in all colors, because it's not just in the Black community or white community or the Hispanic community. I mean, it's all over. Like, young men ain't doing what they need to do. They're not respecting what they need to respect. So, like, this is a universal message. This is not something that's just geared towards a particular color. It's geared towards, just man in itself, just having love, being able to love. All right, I'm going to stop because, we could just go on for days and days and days. All right, I got to get my baby ready to go to the babysitter, okay? All right. As always, remember, from works of art, love, peace, progression. I'm out.